Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen and my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hannah and I post twice a week. I post what's for dinner videos, shop with me's, grocery hauls, all sorts of home motivation. So if you're interested in that, please hit the subscribe button down below and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of those videos coming out. I currently have 8 subscribers, so if you would like to be number 9, hit that subscribe button down below and leave a comment and tell me how you found the channel and where you're from. I would love to know. So in this video this week, we are making 4 new dinners. A couple of them are classic recipes that I'm sure you've heard of before, and then a couple of them are some new recipes that I found that I thought we would like to try. So we're gonna make spaghetti. I know everybody probably knows how to make spaghetti, but I think I have a couple of tips for you on how to do it really easily and also to add a lot more flavor to the recipe. So we're gonna make spaghetti, we're gonna make red pepper soup with cauliflower rice and ground beef. We're gonna make egg roll in a bowl. And then we are gonna make beef and broccoli recipe using ground beef. So I think all of those sound really great. They should be really good. Please stick around for all 4 of them and let's get cooking. The first meal that we are making is spaghetti. So I am using this Bonza pasta. It's made from chickpeas and it's gluten-free. So we're trying to eat less gluten. I'm not gonna say that we are completely gluten-free because I cheat on that diet too much for that to say that we're completely gluten-free, but we are trying to eat less gluten. So this is made from chickpeas. We actually really like it a lot, and it's got a lot of protein in it, like 22 grams of protein a serving. So this will fill you up in a hurry. We are gonna boil this and then start on our ground beef. Start by putting your ground beef in your skillet, and you want the skillet to be hot when you put the beef in there. So actually, when a recipe calls for you to brown the ground beef, I didn't know this until recently, but that doesn't mean just cook it until it's cooked. So for ground beef, you're actually supposed to spread the meat out in a single layer in the pan and then let it brown untouched. So don't keep stirring it around, just spread it out in a single layer in the pan and let it brown until it gets that nice caramelized color on the bottom. So if it's a gray color, you haven't left it alone long enough for it to develop that brown color that you can see there. That's caramelization and that's flavor. So while the ground beef is browning, I'm also going to salt the pasta water. They say that you should salt pasta water until it tastes like the ocean, so don't be shy with the salt in the pasta water. I'm just giving the ground beef a stir now. The bottom has browned enough that I feel like I can stir the rest of it around in the pan and get it cooked as well. I really debated on whether or not to film this spaghetti dinner for you all because I thought, everybody knows how to make spaghetti. Everybody and their brother knows how to make an easy spaghetti sauce, but maybe they don't. Maybe you don't know how to make spaghetti. Maybe you're just learning how to cook. And if you are, this is such a great place to start because spaghetti is so simple and it's such a crowd pleaser. We have spaghetti pretty often because everybody in our house loves it. It's easy. It's got a lot of protein in it, especially if you use these chickpea noodles. It's got so much protein and it will keep you full for a long time. And it's a crowd pleaser, so win-win. I went ahead and put the pasta noodles into the water and I'm just stirring those around. You want to make sure that you stir them well, especially in the first couple of minutes because they have a tendency to stick together if you don't. So next I'm going to drain the grease out of the ground beef. I used to, try to hold the pan up and put the lid on the pan and drain the grease that way, but I've seen several people use this method where they just put the paper towel in the pan to sop up the extra grease, and it is such a hack. So we are using Rayo's pasta sauce. I got this from Costco recently in a grocery haul. I'll link that video down below if you all want to see that. And I got it because everybody raves about how good this is and how it's the best pasta sauce they've ever had. It's very expensive. It's like almost $5 a jar compared to, we usually use the Aldi marinara sauce that is like 85 cents. So I just gave this a taste test to see how it compared. I thought it was filming and I wasn't, but the verdict is it's so good. It's so good. You can definitely tell that there are just like, I don't know, it tastes a lot more tomato-y. That doesn't make sense, but it tastes so much better than the Aldi one. And I think a lot of people like it because it has really clean ingredients. So just tomatoes, olive oil, onions, salt, garlic, basil, black pepper, and oregano. That's it. And it's delicious. We may have to switch to this one because I really like that a lot. We'll see how it does in the spaghetti. When your ground beef has finished browning, you're going to put the sauce, whatever marinara sauce you're using, straight into the pan with it. I just dump a whole jar of the marinara sauce into the pan with 1 pound of ground beef. I just tasted this sauce with the meat in it after I put the marinara sauce in, and it's so good that I don't want to put anything else in it. So normally if I make it with a less expensive pasta sauce, like let's say you have Prego or the Aldi brand or any other sort of less expensive pasta sauce out of the jar, I would put garlic powder, Italian seasoning, and onion powder in the sauce at this point and let it cook down for maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10, just enough to get all of the spices cooked in there and melded and everything like together in the pan. I do that for the Aldi sauce because I think it makes it taste better and it gives it more flavor, but this sauce, it's just so good I don't want to mess it up. So I'm not going to add that. So my recommendation is, if you're using a cheaper pasta sauce, use those spices that I just talked about, or if you have a few extra bucks in your budget this month, this is where it's at. People aren't lying when they say this is great stuff. It's great. I could like drink this out of the jar. I might finish the rest of this out of the jar. I won't make y'all watch that though. When your noodles are done, go ahead and drain those and then put them back into the pot. And I toss them with some olive oil because it just keeps the noodles from sticking together. I'm sure that this is not the proper Italian way to do this, but if you don't put oil on the noodles, they clump up and they stick together, especially if you have leftovers. They stick together really badly. So I like to serve our sauce in like a little pile on top of our noodles. So you could also just dump the sauce into the pot with the noodles, mix that around, and then serve it that way. But I like to put ours on top and serve it in a little pile like this. I just think it looks fancy. I had some Parmesan cheese, a block of Parmesan cheese that I needed to use up. So I decided that I would use that on our spaghetti. So I just got my little micro planer out that my husband got me. This thing is so nifty. It's so cool. And grated this Parmesan on top of our spaghetti. But if you don't have Parmesan blocks like this at home, any sort of cheese will work just fine. Mozzarella cheese, shredded cheddar, shredded Fiesta blend cheese. We have literally used every type of cheese on spaghetti, and you cannot tell the difference. This was so good, just like it always is. We love spaghetti, and it is such an easy meal to put together, and it can be really cheap and budget friendly too. The next meal that we're making is red pepper soup in the Instant Pot. So this was my first time making this, and it turned out so well. It was so good. So the first thing you want to do is dice up your peppers. So the recipe calls for 3 peppers and an onion. So I used a red, a yellow, and an orange pepper here. Then you want to brown your ground beef in the Instant Pot. So put your Instant Pot on the saute function and put the ground beef in there and just brown it right in your Instant Pot. You want to, again, put the ground beef in there and don't touch it. Let it brown on the bottom before you start mixing it up to cook the rest of the meat. After the meat has cooked, you want to drain the grease. So I'm just using the paper towel trick again here. Then you want to add your onions into the pot so that they can cook. Add in your garlic to the pot as well, and then give everything a good stir and let that cook for a second. Then add in Italian seasoning to the mix. You also want to add in paprika and then give that another good stir. Cook that all together for a few minutes until the onions are translucent, and then add in your peppers straight to the pot. Next, you'll add in beef broth or beef bouillon if you're using that like I am. You all know that I use the Better Than Bouillon paste, so that was just some water with that paste in it. You're also going to add in 2 cans of tomato sauce if you're using the small cans like I was, or 1 can if you're using the bigger cans. Give all of that a stir again, and then you are going to turn the Instant Pot off the saute method and use the pressure cooker to finish cooking the soup here. You are going to put the soup into the pressure cooker, make sure that's sealed, and then cook it for 3 or 4 minutes. While that's cooking, you're going to put your cauliflower rice into the microwave to cook as well. When it's done, you'll add in the cauliflower rice and then stir everything together. The recipe calls for salt, and I forgot to put that in before I pressure cooked everything, so I had to add it in at the end, but you all will remember the salt because you will remember that I forgot it. So put your salt in ahead of time. This was so good. Corey and I both really loved this, and I will make it again. The flavors are great. It's really hearty with all the beef in it, and it's just a winner overall. I served it with grilled cheese, and that was a great combination as well. This next recipe is egg roll in a bowl. So you're going to start by prepping your produce. You need to dice an onion, peel some ginger, and then dice that ginger as well. And you also want to chop up some green onions for the topping. Next, you want to brown 1 pound of ground pork in a skillet. Season that with some salt and pepper while it's cooking, and then when it's finished, you want to remove that from the skillet and leave the pan on the heat on the stove. To your pan, you're going to add some sesame oil. You're also going to add your onion and then about half of the ginger that you diced before. So you can see that I forgot to save half of the ginger for the sauce. So I put almost all of it in here and then remembered I was supposed to save some. So I had to go back and try and pick some of it out of the pan to put back on the cutting board for the sauce. So remember, half of the ginger goes in the pan now and you save half of it for the sauce for later. Next, you'll add your garlic to the pan as well, and then you are going to cook all of this for a few minutes until the onions are translucent and the garlic and ginger are fragrant. Then you'll add a whole bag of coleslaw mix to the pan. I appreciate that because it's low maintenance and you don't have to shred up a whole head of cabbage. Then you'll add in soy sauce and apple cider vinegar. I just mixed both of those together in this little dish before I put it in. You're going to cook all of this in the skillet until the cabbage is cooked through and you can tell that it has reduced size in the pan. When that cabbage is cooked through, you'll add your pork back into the same pan. Give this all a good stir and then remove it from the heat. We are ready to make the sauce. The sauce starts with coconut milk. The recipe actually calls for coconut cream, but I couldn't find that in my store, so I just used coconut milk and it turned out great. Next, you'll add soy sauce and apple cider vinegar to the coconut milk. You'll also add the rest of that ginger and then give everything a good whisk to combine it together. I was skeptical of this sauce because I really do not like coconut flavored things, but it was delicious, and I even ended up going back and making extra sauce because we liked it and I wanted to have enough to put on both of these bowls that I was serving. So I would suggest that you all double the sauce recipe as well, because the original recipe just doesn't make enough in my opinion. So I would definitely double that. Hey friends, Editing Hannah here. So we really loved the egg roll in a bowl. That was a great recipe and we will make that again for sure. I also like that it's low carb if you're trying to eat low carb, and it also has a lot of veggies in it because of all that cabbage from the slaw mix. So it's definitely a winner. We liked that one a lot and we really liked the sauce with it. So for sure, go and make that one. It was worth the time and it was pretty quick as well. So this fourth recipe, I told you guys that I was going to make beef and broccoli, but I miscalculated how much beef I would need. So I only bought like a 2-pound pack of beef when I actually had 3 beef recipes for the week. So I ended up with not enough beef. So I thought, well, okay, that's fine. I'll just, make do with what I have in the fridge. So I decided to make a ranch chicken crock pot recipe. But when I tried to make it, I tried to sub in too many different things from what the original recipe called for. And I ended up just like ruining it. It did not turn out well. And I don't want to show you guys that and tell you that it was good when I didn't, really like it. I didn't think it was great. So I'm not going to show that for you. But I promise I will find another chicken crockpot recipe for one of my next videos. And we will make one that's really great together so that you have some good chicken crockpot inspiration for your meals. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate every single view, and thank you so much for coming to spend your time with me. I hope that you all have a great week. I hope that you'll join me next week. I upload every Thursday and Saturday, so please come back for more videos. Check out one of my grocery hauls. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.